ask you to click something to acknowledge that you are being recorded. I am Kat Fribley. I am the executive director at Birdability, and I'm super delighted that you all are here. We are in the midst of Birdability Week, and this is our 4th annual Birdability Week, even though it is our first annual birding trivia night. So we're really excited to have you all joining us. For folks that would like to use closed captions, I want to point out that if you go to the bottom of your screen and you click on captions and you click on show captions, that you will be able then to see the closed captions that are happening. I also wanted to say thank you for being here. We are really delighted to have this opportunity tonight. Birdability Week, as you all know, is a celebration of birders with disabilities and other health concerns. And it's an opportunity to share resources and ideas to help the birding community become more accessible and more inclusive, but also to build community. And tonight we are in community as we figure out how to move forward with trivia that I have to tell you all is a little bit more challenging than I had expected. And I'm glad I'm the scorekeeper and not actually playing tonight. So with that, I want to just say, again, thank you so much to Nicole Nigel. I want to introduce Nicole and say that her work has been instrumental to Birdability Week this year and apparently in years past. And she's really the force behind this trivia night. It was her idea, and she's put a ton of work into making it happen. And now here we are, and we're joined by not only Nicole, but also our trivia hosts, Adrianna Nelson, ABA Young Birder, and Nate Swick, ABA Digital Communications, and host of the American Birding Podcast. And with that, I'm getting out of here, and I'm just going to go be the tally person.
Hey, everybody. Hi, Kat. Hi, Nicole. Hi, everybody out there in the chat on the internet. We're excited to have you here for Birding Trivia Night. I'm Nate Swick. As Kat said, I'm joined by Adrianna Nelson, who's one of our great ABA Young Birders and podcast guest, former podcast guest. You were on the podcast once. Yeah, I remember that.
There was.
It was. We're excited to have you here. We've got some really fun trivia questions for you and some really fun bird games as we sort of work our way. I assume that everybody is here. I actually just got a message from Kevin Perzoni on Facebook asking if the link went out. Hopefully, it will be in there. We're adding some more people here. We're adding some more people. We're going to let some more people come in before we get started. But we're delighted to have you here. Birdability is one of those groups that has done really amazing things, bringing awareness to the needs of those with disabilities and how they can enjoy birding and enjoy bird watching in all the places that everyone enjoys bird watching. We can all do it together. Adrianna, how are things with you? How are you? Have you interacted with Birdability in the past?
I am fantastic. Just hanging out and excited for an evening filled with bird people. So lots to be excited about.
Absolutely.
I have not done a lot with Birdability in the past. I think this will really be my first interaction. So I'm very excited to spend the night with everybody, and we have some really fun questions. And I am very much looking forward to dropping some cool bird facts on you.
Absolutely. That's what we love to do. That's what birders love to do. If there's one thing we love, it's looking at birds. If there's two things we love, it's sharing inane bird facts with friends and family members who may not be always recipient to them, grateful recipients to them. I think we've got enough people in here to get started. Thanks to all of you for showing up. So birding trivia, as it turns out, is a sort of a difficult thing to do online, and I would like to thank again Nicole for managing to put this together and basically do the difficult work of coming up with questions, of coming up with topics, and of course making it all work for a group of people that are separated all across the continent. We have a few notable rules before we get started on this, and if you would, Nicole, hit that thing. We're going to talk this through. What we ask for those of you who are participating on a team is that you come up with some sort of way to communicate with that team outside of Zoom, be it Discord, be it a text group, be it a call, anything that you need to do, a Facebook message group, whatever. We ask that you find a way to communicate with your team, and one of the people on your team needs to be the name of the team. So when you give your answer, you're sending it to. Oh, I'm getting ahead of myself. So the first thing you need to do is name yourself on Zoom. One person from each team should change their name so that it is the team name. Seems like a few people have done that. Looks like we're getting that. Thank you to those folks for taking care of that. For each question that you receive, that we ask, you will get one answer to think, 1 minute to think, one answer. Every question has one answer. But you'll have 1 minute to think of that answer, and that the timer is right there at the top, and you have until that timer turns purple to send. Well, I'm getting ahead of myself again. Adrianna, do you want to take it from there? You have a minute. That's the important takeaway from that step.
Yes, so you do need to get your answer sent in before the end of that minute, and you will do that by opening up the Zoom chat. You will type in your answer and send that to Kat. So it should already be set to send to Kat. We have it set so that way answers don't go out willy-nilly and everybody doesn't see them. So your answers should privately be going to Kat, and you can see that. You can check now. If you open up the Zoom chat, it should already be set.
Kat Fribley, she, her, Birdability. That's who you want to send your answers to.
Yes. And so it is not necessary for every member of your team to send in an answer. If you're a solo player, you'll just send in answers for yourself. If you are playing on a team, you only need to select one team member for submitting your answer on Zoom. And preferably the team member who has already changed their Zoom name to the team name.
Otherwise, we will not know. One quick note about the internet. There is no way we can stop you from using Google to come up with the answers to these questions. Unfortunately, we tried to get in touch with the Google people to prevent all of your computers from actually accessing the search engine during this 1 hour period. But unfortunately, they think that we are crackpots. But so we only ask that in the spirit of this competition that you do not search for the answers to the questions on Google, because it's more fun that way. And that's so we're appealing to your sense of fairness and good spirits. Does that sound all right to everybody out there? I know you can't hear me. I feel like I'm just talking to a wall. I was just talking to Adrianna.
Well, it sounds good to me, Nate.
Yeah, I know that you would not use Google to come up with the answers to these questions. Some of them, I don't know that it would really help you all that much towards the end.
Some of them are tricky. Some of them are hard to Google.
Some of them will be very difficult to Google. All right, so we haven't had any new people join us for a little while, so I think let's just get right into it. We want to make sure that we have plenty of time for a special feature at the end, a surprise. I don't know how much of it is a surprise, but I know that I will be surprised, and we will all enjoy it. But we want to give as much time as possible for that. So, guys, let's get to it. Let's get to the questions. Oh boy, we're jumping right into it. Oh yeah, this is an example. This is not the question. So you'll see the question written on there. We're sorry that the timer is sort of tucked up there in the corner, but we trust that you can figure out exactly what words are on there. But we will throw up the question. We will read that question, and then the timer will start, and then you will have 1 minute to get your questions to Kat. And Adrianna and I will just be busy talking about birds here while you come up with it, hopefully not distracting you. Hopefully distracting you. We want to make this as difficult as possible for you. What bird species is shown on the Birdability logo, folks? Send your answers into Kat. That Birdability logo designed by Alex Tomlinson, the Audubon graphic design artist who does a lot of really cool stuff. So you can send that in to Kat, make sure that she gets it, and then you will be prepared. Maybe a minute is plenty of time.
I'm just going to say, though, if I could jump in here for just a
Yes,
second,
please,
Nate.
Kat.
I think one of the things we may want to say is we're looking for some degree of specificity for most of these. So when we move to the next one, as specific as you can in your answers, as I'm tallying, would be incredibly helpful.
Yes. Let's make it easy as possible for Kat, who has taken on the onerous position of being the scorekeeper here. That is a big job. It's perhaps the most important job in a trivia competition. Much less important than mine. All right, are we all ready? Are we there? Should we move on? What is the answer to this question, Nicole? It's white-breasted nuthatch, Sitta carolinensis. Love a bird named after my current home state. Sitta carolinensis, white-breasted nuthatch. So we're all good. We're all cool. We're all ready to go. I think we are. Let's get going. The first category is collective nouns. You're all familiar with collective nouns of birds. We've got some pretty esoteric ones in here, and we are going to start out. The questions will go in increasing difficulty as we go. What is a group of crows called? Folks, do you know what a group of crows? Oh no, 5 minutes. Oh no. I don't think you'll need quite that long to come up with what a group of crows is called, aside from a flock, which I think could conceivably be the answer to every single one of these. A group of crows is called what? Do you know what a group of jays is called, Adrianna?
I don't know. What is a group of jays called?
A baseball team.
But that's a good one.
Terrible. That was not a good one. You do not need to encourage me. That was terrible.
Is it too early to kick Nate off as one of the co-hosts?
Oh boy. Yeah, I really should have had some in my back pocket. That one was I hope we have some Canadian friends in there. Would have appreciated that, perhaps. All right, folks, we're at the end. Hope you have your answers into Kat. What is a group of crows called? The reveal. It is a murder. A murder of crows. Oh, a group of ravens is a manslaughter. Sorry. Terrible. Question number 2. What is a group of owls called? A group of owls. I can't recall any time that I have ever seen. Well, actually, one time. Have you ever seen a group of owls, Adrianna?
I have once seen a group of owls.
Once. Yeah, what was the species?
It was an eastern screech owl.
A group of eastern screech owls?
Yes, but they were.
Tell the story.
It wasn't all that exciting. Well, actually, owls are always.
I think any group of owls is exciting.
It was an adult red morph screech owl and a bunch of tiny little recently fledged puffballs scattered about the trees.
Very nice.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
My group of owl story was a large group of wintering short-eared owls that were sort of taking off from this copse of pine trees as the sun would get lower and the darkness came in the evening, and they just kept flying out over and over and over again. I think the final count was something like 30 short-eared owls in this one experience. Is very cool. All right, folks, what is a group of owls called? A parliament. Parliament of owls. If you were, they do not use our bicameral legislature. They use a parliamentary system. Who knew? On to the next group, 300 points. What is a group of geese on the ground called? A geese on the ground, not flying geese. Although, if you would like to receive an extra 75 points, you can give additional names that can be given to a group of geese in the air. Did you know that there are two separate? I did not know that before we started practicing for this evening's event. Did you?
I did not. I had no clue that there was a distinction. I thought a goose was a goose, or rather geese were geese.
I know that when I see geese on the ground, particularly the group of Canada geese that wanders around my neighborhood, I have lots of creative names for them as they slow traffic to a standstill. But I didn't know none of those are official as far as I know.
Well, let's hope not.
A group of geese on the ground. This is one of those situations where we kind of miss having our timer up there in the corner and not kind of cover it because you wouldn't know. It will kind of a group of geese on the grill, perhaps, would be something completely different.
Have you had geese on grill before?
I've never actually eaten geese before. Have you ever eaten geese? I know it's like in the Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens. Like, what's his name? Brings him a goose. Let's give the answers to this question, so we don't have to. A group of geese on the ground is called a gaggle of geese. But in the air, you can refer to them as a skein. I assume that's the way you pronounce that, or skein. A team of geese, notorious, great for working together, or a wedge, obviously referring to the shoes they wear. On to the next question. Collective nouns, 400 points. A group of emus. This is a question specifically for our Australian friends. 400 points. A group of emus. I find any group of large flightless birds to be emusing?
That's strike two, Nate. That's strike two.
Ferris, terrible.
No, that was solid. That was a good one. I think that they should give you points for that one.
So you're competing against me. We'll reveal my points. Negative, no doubt, by the end of the hour.
Every bad pun is twice as many points.
Twice as many points taken away. I am at negative by now. We're coming up in the last 10 seconds. Get your answers to Kat. She is waiting for them. What is a group of emu called? The reveal, a mob. A mob. I had no idea that emus were involved in organized crime. So learn something new every day. One more question in this category. Collective nouns, 500 points. This is the most difficult one, at least theoretically. What is a group of bobolinks called? Bobolinks, rice birds. Also, we're giving you a little extra, a little more than 1 minute. You get 1 minute and 10 seconds to come up because this is a particularly difficult one.
Sorry,
I have no
Nate,
idea
that
what
was
a group.
bad.
No worries, no problem. I think they'll need the extra time for this one because a group of bobolinks is not a thing that I'd ever thought about, but something to think about this spring when the bobolinks return. Are you still seeing bobolinks? They're still reporting a few of them around in my state.
I have not personally seen any reports near me. I think they have. Yeah. They've just about cleared out. The R2D2 bird. I do love
R2D2 bird. That's right. Great. Yeah. One of the great songs. They usually sometimes see them into November here in North Carolina on the coast. You're not in North Carolina, though. I feel like this is the sort of thing we should have discussed before this. So you're in Tennessee, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Like an hour's drive from North Carolina. So it's close enough.
Right. Close enough. Close enough. So all the bobolinks I know are on the Outer Banks now. What is a group of bobolinks called? I hope you got your answers to Kat. A chain. Chain of bobolinks. I wonder why they call that. Anyway, I am going to turn this next group of questions over to Adrianna. Take it away.
Okay, I like it. So we can get started with our first question, which is, I gotta move your picture here, Nate, which is, which bird is the smallest long-distance migrant of the world and the smallest native species found in the United States? So I don't know about you all, but I have really been enjoying fall migration. I got to go out and do some hawk watching. Unfortunately for me, I really attract bad weather, and so our flights were a little dull this fall. But big numbers. I was at Grandfather Mountain in North Carolina.
Oh, nice.
1 in 2,000 groups a day of bottoming hawks. Pretty cool. Nate, have you seen any spectacular?
Oh, nothing spectacular. Nothing spectacular. I I have children, so my weekends are taken up this fall at soccer games at various fields around my city. But I always bird when I'm there, and I've seen broad-winged hawks flying over on a few occasions over the fields when I've been there. I'm probably the only soccer parent that's pointing them out, though. No one else seems to really care about them.
But you know what we care about? We care about calliope hummingbirds.
Calliope hummingbird.
The little guys.
The bird's so nice. It's named after a weird musical instrument.
No time. Next question.
No time. Moving on.
But wait, it's Kat, and I have a question.
Yeah.
I have a couple of folks, friends, who are registered maybe as one name, but are responding as another. And I'm wondering if folks don't remember what they registered as, or how to link your answers to the registered name. So, Cassilium, Rebevin, if you could message me and tell me, are you on a team? Are you by yourself? So that I know where to put your points. I would love that. Similarly, Claudia Dwayne, are you on your own? Are you on a team? Let me know. I want to make sure I'm putting them in the right place. And sorry about that interruption, friends.
We've had extra time to come up with this, the answer to this question here.
And this is a fun one. This is a good one. And you'll never get it. Wahahaha.
This is the one that prompted the largest amount of... You can go ahead and hit the timer if you like, Nicole. But it prompted the most discussion in our run through earlier.
Yes. And I'm very excited about this question. The question is, the sex of which bird can be determined by the shape of its feces? Always fun when you throw feces into the mix. Always fun. So speaking of turds, I got to spend the summer on a seabird colony in Maine, and I got to experience all kinds of seabird turds.
I'm sure.
Common and Arctic terns in particular.
As a pungent place.
Oh yes. It was something. It turns out that they are amazingly accurate at aiming their feces right at your face, right at your hands, right in your hair. It's good stuff.
I learned that as a young birder as well. One of my earliest memories when I first started birding was when I was with my family on the Gulf Coast of Alabama, and I walked too close to a least tern colony, and I learned what they do to intruders, and it is smelly.
Oh yeah. Gotta love those seabirds, and we gotta love wild turkeys. So
wild turkeys.
The picture there shows both droppings, both sexes. On the left are the hens, the females, kind of more smaller and compact. On the right are the males, more elongated. So the more you know. Go impress your friends with this species fact.
I had no idea that this was a thing.
Crazy, right? All right, so our next question is, when the first marble murrelet nest was found in 1974, what shocking detail was discovered about the nesting habits of these seabirds?
Shocking.
Crazy.
These habits will shock you.
Literally shock you.
5 seabird habits that will shock you. It's like a listicle.
Nate, tell me about your favorite seabird.
Oh man, so this is great because I finally got marbled murrelet as a lifer this past summer when we did an AVA event in the Bay Area. We did an ABA community weekend, and when the community weekend was over, I hooked up with Alvaro Jaramillo, who many birders might know, and he took me down into San Mateo County specifically to look for marbled murrelets, and we found one. And I'll tell you, if I didn't have Al there, I don't think I would have found that bird on my own. It is a very small bird on a lot of swells. Yeah. So the more you know. Speaking of the more you know, now I know how to find them, but I wouldn't have known. I would have missed it if I'd been on my own. I guarantee.
Gotcha. And the thing that he is talking about there, that really shocking detail, is that they nest in old growth coniferous forest in the Pacific Northwest. Who'd have thunk it, right? A seabird in an old growth coniferous forest. Crazy.
Took them a surprisingly long amount of time for them to find the nests of that bird.
Yeah, tricky.
Birds, they do crazy stuff.
Birds.
Oh my goodness! Somebody says they think theirs is right as well, and they would like a challenge.
Challenge. We'll bring that up at the end of this category.
All right.
Okay.
We'll discuss it.
So.
But for this question, It is, which family of birds did the extinct dodo belong in? Tricky.
Extinct dodo, not to be confused with the extant dodo.
Yes,
which is the Nicobar pigeon.
You're so funny, Nate.
It's the closest. That's the closest relative. The closest extant relative to the dodo is a Nicobar pigeon, which is a cool predator-looking. Oh shoot! I think I may have just given the quiz. Oh my god!
Don't say anything. Don't say anything. That's okay. That's okay. No worries. No worries. Well, anyway, we have a few seconds left, so get in your answers.
That's a free one, folks. That's a free one.
The answer is Columbidae, or the doves and pigeons. So believe it or not.
Who knew? Who knew?
We didn't know. Nobody had any idea.
No idea.
Okay.
Oh.
One more here. This is a bit of a double whammy, a double jeopardy here. What is the only family of birds known to consume their feathers? And you can receive an extra 75 bonus points if you can name their closest living relative. So I actually prepared some information about pigeons based on the last question. I did a little Google search on homing pigeons. Turns out that homing pigeons were very important historically in wars like World War II. They carry important messages. And in fact, 32 pigeons received the Dickin Medal, which honors animals that served in World War II. Crazy, right?
I feel like we should be giving more medals to animals, to non-humans. I don't think they know or appreciate it or can comprehend it, but I just think it's something we should just be in the practice of doing.
I think we need to do it for us. We need to give more.
You should get one.
Give more. I agree.
Putting up with me for giving up the answers before I before we give them. So just to be clear on this one, the answer to the first question, what is the closest relative to the answer to the first one? There you go. There's your answers right there. We've revealed them. It's grebes.
Yeah, grebes will in fact eat their own feathers. And crazy, I didn't know this, that flamingos are actually the grebes' closest relatives. Did you know that, Nate? I was not aware of this.
It's one of those things that I heard a long time ago, and it didn't really stick. I was like, oh, that's cool. I mean, it's hard to think of flamingos as having any sort of close relatives, considering how absolutely bizarre they are. I mean, they look like herons. They got web feet. It's really weird. All right, on to our next category. Oh, before we move on to the next category, do we want to deal with that other question, the other answer to the marbled murrelet question? Kat, do you want to throw that open to the judges? Are we the judges? We're all the judges.
I think you're the judges,
the
Nate
four
and
of us.
Adrianna. Yes, and we
Nicole
have a couple
well.
folks who would like to challenge the answer.
All right, you don't have to give us their names in case that that might influence us one way or the other. But
they actually, I think they're actually going to need to unmute and tell us, because they didn't actually
they're going to make a case. They're going to make a case.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
We'll hear it.
So if you're open to that, I think now's the time.
It's like a little Judge Birdie here. We're gonna
let's hear it. Let's hear it.
Argue for the plaintiff.
All right. Anybody?
Who was it?
Like how they're all brave in the chat.
Yeah.
I like how they're all brave in the chat.
I'd be happy to unmute.
If you would like. Anyone? Okay. So the Great Tits say they would like to challenge the answer to the nesting at the top of the old growth forest. I'm just going to throw it out there and say they nest in moss in trees should also be accepted.
I'd be inclined to agree with that. I think the old growth is the important part of it, but I guess if there is moss, like how does heavily they nest in the moss.
All right.
What do you think, Adrianna?
I think moss is associated with the old growth forest.
Okay.
I think that's pretty close.
We're being lenient. We've got some fantastic prizes for the winners. And if that turns the table on them, then maybe we can have people complain. But I guess maybe they'll never know. All right, you can have it. We'll give it to you. If you want to argue your point. Okay, birds and pop culture.
Right. And while killed,
we're moving on to the next category. We're gonna have time to think about this one. Birds and pop culture. We've got a lot of pop culture questions here. What bird is featured on the cover of the I don't know what that word is. Bird themed board game Wingspan. Hey, you know what? It works even without it. What bird is featured on the cover of the bird themed board game Wingspan? If you have a bonus, you can gain an extra 50 points per additional bird pictured on the box of gain an extra per. Oh, so I believe. Oh, there are other birds on the box of the base game. Is that correct, Nicole?
Yes.
More than one
sorry. There are each side like the.
Oh, I see.
You
The
know,
size of the boxes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So there's one.
I have
big one.
I have Wingspan on the Nintendo Switch, so I don't get to see the box. So
Yes.
the bird themed board game Wingspan, the creator of which was also a podcast guest a few years ago, Elizabeth. She's great. Apparently, it's quite the phenomenon, Wingspan, both in the birding community and outside the birding community. The answer to the question is the scissor-tailed flycatcher. What a great bird. State bird of Oklahoma. Extra birds around the box: western tanager, eastern screech owl, black-capped chickadee, and ruby-throated hummingbird. So possible 150, 200, 250, possible 300 points on that question. So, all right, shall we move to the next one? In the Harry Potter series, what kind of mythical bird is Fox? A loyal companion to Albus Dumbledore and who possesses healing tears. This is a mythical bird. I feel like that we have discretion to mix things up in birds and pop culture. Some of the answers in the future questions aren't even birds. You'll know them when you see them, but they are bird related.
Tell me,
in
Nate,
the Harry Potter series.
Oops, go ahead. No, it's yours. Take it.
I was not going to say anything.
Oh, great.
I was
Okay.
just vamping.
Cool. Well, I will vamp too and
Yeah.
ask you what your favorite mythical bird is. Do you have a favorite mythical bird?
Mythical bird? It's the ivory-billed woodpecker. Sorry. No.
Good one.
Mythical bird. Thunderbird. That's the only one I can think of. The actual bird, not the car. I can't think of too many mythical. I can't think of even one mythical bird other than this one. The answer to this question is Phoenix, rising like a phoenix from Arizona. On to the next question. Name 3 NFL teams who have a bird mascot. There are 5 of them. You can receive an extra 50 points for each additional team that you can name. There's a total of 5. Name 3 to get 300 points for this question. But if you can name the other 2, then you can get an extra 100 points, 50 points apiece.
Well,
I was going to talk about one of these, but I can't because that would give it away. So I'm going to talk about mythical birds again. What is your favorite mythical bird, Adrianna?
Oh, I was hoping you wouldn't ask the same question of me because I also am out of mythical
Cannot think of one. It's only the one. It's a phoenix.
Let's say Phoenix.
Phoenix, yeah. Appropriate. Yeah. Gotta love a bird.
For no particular
Maybe it was like Pokemon birds or something.
Are
those mythical or those cartoon?
I think
there
I would
a line?
count it.
Is there a gray area?
Sure, let's count them.
The Atlanta Falcons, the Arizona Cardinals, the Baltimore Ravens, the Philadelphia Eagles, and the Seattle Seahawks, which is an osprey. How many of these birds, this is just a question to you, Adrianna, have a logo, a mascot that has a bird with teeth? Pretty sure it's 2 of them. No, Baltimore Ravens do not have teeth. The Arizona Cardinals mascot is a cardinal with teeth.
Huh.
So I see what you're doing there, Arizona. I don't appreciate it. Birds in pop culture. In the movie The Big Year, which tells the story of 3 people attempting to complete a big year, was rife with ornithological inaccuracies, including the presence of a pink-footed goose in 2 different, highly unlikely states. List one of the states, gain an additional 50 points, if you can name both states. I will point out that although when this movie came out in, what's it, like 2003, 2004, I can't remember, this pink-footed goose turned up in one of the states, and everyone was like, "Oh, it's ridiculous! This bird would never end up here." And then several years later, it actually did. So maybe it's not completely highly unlikely. It's still highly unlikely, but not completely impossible.
Definitely was really far out of its way. That's for sure.
Yeah, well, pink-footed goose is one of those birds that's going to be showing up more. We're waiting for ours in North Carolina. It's only a matter of time. Only a matter of time. Hope you got your answers in. What are the states? Colorado and Texas. And Colorado, in fact, ended up getting a pink-footed goose like about 3 or 4 years ago. The Excel spreadsheet that Kat was using to calculate the scores has crashed. But she will have it eventually. On to the next question. We'll get there. Name the 2003 inductee into the Basketball Hall of Fame who is known as the Clown Prince of the Harlem Globetrotters. What does this have to do with birds, Adrianna? Other than basketball players and birds both fly.
I don't know, Nate, because I don't do sports. I'm glad I didn't get the sports questions. This one's all you.
Well, there is, in fact, a bird-related player who we're referring to here that perhaps, if you are a student of basketball history, as I am guaranteed at least 2 people are in this chat, you might know, you might recognize. Somewhat famous. He's a resident of or a son of North Carolina as well, for what it's worth, from Wilmington.
Well, I'm glad I'm not answering this question because over my head.
Hope you get it. It is Meadowlark Lemon. His real name was Meadow Lemon. They added Meadowlark, I assume, for the alliteration. And also, need more sports stars named after birds. Although there was also a basketball player who came along in the 80s who was nicknamed Birdman. A lot of tattoos. I can't recall his name off the top of my head. That is birds and pop culture. Kat, we have a score?
Sorry, Kat is texting me.
Nicole.
They are, sorry, this is Nicole. Trying to figure out the spreadsheet. So in progress over here.
We'll get it. It's a huge mystery.
We're working on it. It's going to remain a mystery. I will say some folks are doing very well and some folks are doing super poorly. There you go. That is the report.
Thank you for that update.
All we need to know.
That's it. That really is it. Keep at it, folks. Keep trying.
You're doing great. And
you're doing great. We're proud of you.
In this next category, which is bird banding codes. So these are going to be 4-letter codes, and the answers will also be the associated species. So we are looking for the 4-letter code and the species. It's 2-part answer for all of these.
2-parter.
And I would also like to remind everyone the point value system in this category is different.
Slightly different.
Nate wants to explain.
You'll figure it out. You see the points there at the top. There's more questions in this category, so they're worth slightly fewer points. So this is a great opportunity to move up or not move. It's a great opportunity to get points in this trivia competition. It's just the point. Okay.
So kicking off this category, it's what bird's code spells the name of a large predatory cat. So let's talk about these bird banding codes.
Banding codes. Love them or hate them.
Oh, I love them. I love texting bird banding codes to my friends and speaking in bird banding codes, but sometimes it causes some confusion because they're not all that intuitive. But I do love my bird banding codes. And for folks not familiar, these are 4-letter codes. Just kind of abbreviates the bird's name. It's handy for people who do things like bird banding. Easy peasy. You can just jot down a few letters instead of writing out the whole name. Yeah. What's your
Yeah,
favorite?
they're usually made up of the first two letters of the first word and the second two letters of the second word. For instance, American Robin would be abbreviated as AMRO, if you're not familiar with how bird banding codes work, or black-bellied plover. In instance there are three, it would be the first two letters of the first word and the second two letters. The first letters of the first two words and the second letter. So it's a BBPL. And for instance, this one, large predatory cat, Puma, purple martin, PUMA.
The purple martin.
Yeah.
Okay. And next question is, what bird's code spells the name of a kitchen appliance? So while you all are thinking about that, do you like purple martins? Because I love purple martins. They are a
purple
native
martins
cavity nesting species found.
Are amazing.
Yeah, they are amazing. They're found across the east. They're a pretty common one. They love nesting structures like gourds. So if you all love purple martins, you can attract them to your yard with nesting structures. And did you know that they love eating dragonflies?
That doesn't surprise me, but I did not know that.
They are quite skilled at capturing dragonflies, and
That's impressive because dragonflies are pretty impressive flyers.
Yeah, they will feed some honking dragonflies to their developing kiddos.
Huh. I love how loud and bubbly like a purple martin colony is. Like if you've got one in the backyard of your house, they're just always coming and going. They're always chittering and chattering. They're such a fun little bird to have around if you have kind of an open runway for them or a pond or whatever and some open space.
And the answer to this question is the oven bird, whose code is OVEN or oven. So.
Yep, OVEN.
Okay, and this question is, what bird's code spells the name of a, I think this is grainy substance found at the
granular
beach. Often
granular.
Granular. The name spells a granular substance often found at the beach.
At the beach.
Yeah, at the beach.
Adrianna, did you hear about the upcoming ovenbird split?
No, tell me about this ovenbird split.
Well, the ovenbirds are going to be split into an eastern population and a western population. Ovenbird and stovebird are the proposed names. And do you know how you can tell the difference?
How do you tell the difference, Nate?
Because of the range, Adrianna. The range.
The range. How about that? You know what that is, Nate?
That? It's a terrible joke and I've lost points.
It's your third one.
Yep. Give me another strike, please.
No, that's a great one. And I really do love ovenbirds. They have so much character. They kind of walk across branches instead of hopping like what I think normally warblers would do. Always a fun one to watch. And their nests are kind of domed, bower shaped.
Yeah, that's the cool. That's where they get the name. Ovenbird. It's like a Dutch oven. Yeah.
Where ovenbird comes from. So the answer to this question is sand or sanderling. SAND for sanderling.
I hate sand. So dry and coarse.
I'm sorry. I do love sand.
Sorry.
All right. So for this question, what bird's code spells the name of a substance made of tiny ice crystals? So you don't like sand, huh?
No, that was a Star Wars reference. Sorry.
Oh,
I don't know if you've ever seen the second.
Goes over my head.
Yeah. That's okay. We're all. It's a learning experience for all of us here this evening.
Okay. Yeah. Star Wars. Whoosh. Yeah. I'm more of a Star Trek person, but I digress.
Oh, fair enough. Okay. All
so,
right. Yeah.
Yeah. The sanderlings, aren't they fun? They're great. They
little wind-up toys. Yeah.
They grace us with their presence in winter along our coasts. And
yep. We have them almost year-round where I live in North Carolina. I think some non-breeding ones kind of hang out throughout the summer.
Mm-hmm.
We usually have a few around. Cool thing about sanderlings, they're different from all the other calidrus sandpipers in that they lack a hind toe, which is called a hallux. They don't have it. They have just the three toes facing forward, and they don't have the little one in the back.
Wow.
So they could not land on a branch even if they wanted to.
How about that? Well, that's too bad. But you know what? I think a snowy owl could land on a branch if it wanted to.
No doubt.
And that is the answer to this question.
Two in the front and two in the back.
Snow for snowy owl.
Snowy owl is snow.
Okay. What bird's code is spelled the same as an exclamation of laughter in the English language? It's a good question.
It is a good question. I would not think of this bird as a particularly funny bird on the whole. It seems very serious, actually. What is the funniest bird? What bird do you think would be the best comedian?
The best comedian.
Yeah.
Ooh. You know what? I really love Leach's Storm Petrels because I got to work with them this summer, and they have a very goofy call. It was described to me as a giggling ghost, a chuckling monkey, or laughing children.
All right.
So, and they're kind of all gray. They're gray all over. So I feel like it's kind of deadpan humor. They're not super
I get it. Yeah, like a
not obvious
Stephen
humor
Wright sort of thing. Yeah. They smell weird, don't they?
They sure do. They smell musty, and I love it.
Yeah. One of the few birds you can identify by its smell.
Oh yeah.
Ha ha. Ha ha ha.
The Harris's hawk.
Harris's hawk.
Ha ha.
Ha ha.
That's a good one. Okay. What bird's code spells the name of a different type of bird? I believe is what that says. So the code,
that's correct.
The bird's, so the bird's code is actually going to be the name of another type of bird.
Another bird. Two birds.
Two birds.
Good luck.
But the species and the code will belong to the same species.
Correct. Yes.
But
your answer will be two birds.
Yes. It will.
But refer to one bird. Are we explaining this in a way that makes it any simpler? Probably not.
I'm really hoping. So. So we'll just see what happens. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. This one was a delight when we figured it out.
Oh yeah.
A delight. You will feel very impressed with yourself when you get it. Hope you got it in.
And the answer is a dovekey.
Dovekey.
And the dovekey's code is DOVE or dove, which obviously is a different type of bird.
Hey, I don't know if folks knew that, but a dove is a different type of bird. It's closely related to a dodo, actually.
Wow. I feel like we just learned that somewhere.
I know, somewhere.
Okay, another fun one. What bird's
This might be
code...
the last one. I can't tell.
Oh, sorry. What was that?
I think this might be the last one. I'm not entirely sure. We came up with a bunch of these.
Okay, cool. Well, possibly
them
last one in this category. Maybe, who knows?
Yeah,
It's a surprise. It's a surprise. Yeah. What bird's code spells the name of a popular children's toy?
This is not the last one.
Okay. One more after this.
More to come.
Nicole. Thank you, Nicole.
More to come. More
popular children's toy. The answer is obviously Barbie. I don't know. I can't think of I was trying to think of a bird that would possibly be that, and I could not. Banded bittern. No, that's all I got. It's not that. It's not a bird. It's a made up bird.
Bittern. How about
no? It doesn't even no R. There wouldn't be an R in that one.
A red spotted tinker toy fairy wren.
So that brings up an interesting question. What does happen when there are 5 words in a banding code? I don't think there are any in North America, but there might be elsewhere. It's Lego.
The Lego goldfinch. Oops, I mean lesser goldfinch. So yeah, the lesser goldfinch condenses down nicely into Lego, our favorite little plastic
And the
square.
cool thing about lesser goldfinches is that you can actually stack them on top of each other and they fit perfectly and build any number of wonderful things. Pirate ships, castles, Star Wars ships.
Somebody should patent
this is the last one. Yeah, seriously.
Okay. Oh yeah, this is a fun one. So the codes of what 2 waterfowl species, when placed next to each other, spell a 2-word phrase that requests a return to a personal residence. So this will be 2 species. 2 species are the answer, combined together make up the answer to this question.
Yes. There'll be 2. I'm trying to explain it, but I feel I realized halfway through that I was just going to explain it exactly the way that you just did. So it wouldn't be any help to anybody for me to say, there's 2 species here. 2 species.
two species of waterfowl. And speaking of waterfowl, I am so excited for ducks.
Weird duck season. Yeah,
showing
weird
up.
Duck season coming up.
Oh yeah, I am thrilled. And I just started seeing green-winged teal last week, and I love ducks. I think ducks are one of my favorite groups of birds for no particular reason.
Do you think that birders sometimes keep ducks at arm's length because of the hunting associations? I think birders sometimes don't like to talk about how much they love ducks because hunters like ducks too for different reasons.
I feel like there are two sides to ducks, and it's not fully discussed. Perhaps
this is much deeper than anyone wanted to go into in this.
Yeah.
It's come home.
We'll leave it.
come
We'll
home.
leave it. Anyway, the common merganser and the hooded merganser. The code for the common merganser is COME. The code for the hooded merganser is HOME. And when combined together, it spells come home or a return to a personal residence. So I do believe that wraps up this round.
We've got a few bonus questions. Yeah, we got a few bonus questions here at the end. If you want to put a little icing on the top on the cake of your last category of your last your point total. We're almost 10 minutes away from calling it quits tonight, Dad. So this was perfect. We really nailed the number of questions. Nice job, Nicole. Bonus questions, bonus round. Let's go quick.
Thank you. Before we get into it, can I just ask a challenge real quick?
Yeah. Oh, someone says who's
for the
talking?
Dovey one? Does rent it also count?
Yes.
Awesome.
Obviously, I was. As we were talking about that, I was like, there's probably another bird that this works for, and you found it. Rent it. Good work. I don't know who that was.
Want to confirm, you could put the banding code or the entire name of the bird, right? Because we were just throwing banding codes in there.
I think. Yeah. I think that's probably fine.
Okay. That's good.
All right, before we move on, we have I think there's 4 more questions. These are going to be multiple choice, by the way.
Ooh,
I have not heard from Kat in a few minutes, but
she's buried under all of your responses.
So last I heard, she can't hear us while she's doing this, by the way, and we sort of decided worst case scenario, last resort, maybe we announce the winners tomorrow, sort of thing.
Okay.
Obviously that's not ideal, but we're figuring it out. I'm gonna shoot her another text while we do these.
Should we talk about the prizes? What kind of prizes do people get?
Sure.
I think there's some you know Nicole more than I do, but I know that there's some ABA memberships. I know, that's all I know.
Yeah, so we have 2 different prize sets, different prizes for solo players and for the winning teams. The winning solo player will get a game of Wingspan, the base pack with the Oceania expansion.
Wingspan? Yes. With the scissor-tailed flycatcher on the front?
With the scissor-tailed flycatcher on the front.
Oh, man.
Yes.
And the 5 other species on the box?
I tried so hard to not make the whole popular culture game just all Wingspan. I could have just done a Wingspan theme, to be honest.
That would be better just call that Wingspan.
Yeah. And then the second place winner will we have Birding for a Better World is the name of the book, recently published by the Feminist Bird Club, along with an art print of a white-breasted nuthatch that actually my coworker made. So those will go together, and that will be for the second place solo player winner. Now for teams, the winning team, each player on the team will get a Birds of the World subscription. And then for second place, each player will get an ABA membership.
Fantastic.
And that's what I've got.
Amazing.
Cool. Good stuff.
Nicole, I'm going to ask, since we are kind of coming up against 8:00, should we skip the bonus questions and go straight to the anagrams?
We can. I think that's a great idea. Yes. Actually, maybe we will put these on our social media.
Perfect. Amazing. That's a great idea.
I'm gonna skip really fast.
Don't look, people. Anagrams. All right, we're moved on to the last category, which is anagrams. Nicole has created 5 anagrams of common North American raptors. I'm going to let you do that because otherwise it would be very difficult. You'll have 5 minutes. I don't know if you have 5 minutes. Let's make it 3. Now that you know that they're raptors, it should be a little bit easier. Each team will be awarded 100 points per species name that they unscramble successfully. It's a great opportunity to ramp up your final points. Let's do it. Throw them up there. Good luck. So we've got 3 minutes to kill. Adrianna.
All right.
Hey, and we might have, I'm just saying, some of the answers to these questions. We might have a special guest to say goodbye to everybody
Yes.
before we answer. Just saying. So
Nate, do I need to choose just one special guest? I have two.
Yeah, maybe you should. We'll see.
Okay.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to be like a hard guy, but
That's
yeah,
okay.
maybe.
All right.
Special guests from the
Denison Pequotsepos Nature Center.
Thank you. I was
It's
rolling all
a
the way
tricky
back
one.
to the beginning to make sure I got that right. The Nature Center, at which Nicole works, spreading the joy of nature to all children who come and enjoy. And sometimes not even children, sometimes very strange people, as she experienced this afternoon.
Yes, that was, yeah.
So you're coming up. I hope you've gotten at least a couple of them, folks. You're almost halfway there. Anagrams of North American raptors. These are all fairly widespread, if I remember correctly.
No curveballs in here.
No curveballs, straight ahead. We're giving you the cheese right down the middle.
What if it's right down the side?
Right down the scoop. That's it's a little, we're not trying to fool you. We're not trying to fool anybody here. But we are, actually. That's kind of the name of the game. Bald rower. Acorn secret wheels. Death-like draw. That's actually a really good one for a raptor, I think. Clarinets remake. Beak hog. Windward.
If you had to pick a species that each of these describes, like for
Death-like
acorn
draw?
secret wheels, I would pick an acorn woodpecker.
Yeah, that seems like a natural one.
What would you pick
Bald
for bald
rower. Bald rower. So bald also means white-headed. Rower makes me think of maybe a bird that would be a water bird of some sort. So maybe like one of those feral Florida muscovy ducks that are all black and have the white head.
Okay.
That's
I like it.
That's my bald rower. Clarinets remake. That's got to be a flock of tundra swans. They sound like someone blowing on a clarinet mouthpiece.
I would say like a Swainson's thrush, because wood thrushes have a nice clarinet woodwind sound, but a remake would be a different thrush.
That's right. You put like there's our answers. I hope you got them. Death-like draw, red-tailed hawk. Clarinets remake, American kestrel. Broad-winged hawk is beak hog windward. Bald rower is barred owl. And acorn secret wheels is our guest. Oh no, bald rower is it's acorn secret wheels is our guest today. Hello, Eastern Screech Owl. Oh, I terrified it. I apologize.
Nope, she visits preschools and stuff, so I think this is actually pretty chill for her. This is Willow. She is my very, very good friend. She's an Eastern Screech Owl. She's about 10 years old. And just like all of the birds here that we have at the Nature Center, she is injured in a way that she's not releasable. She actually is a very good flyer. A lot of our birds can't fly, but her hearing and balance is impaired. Almost, I want to say every single one of our birds here. Yes.
Would you mind turning off screen sharing so that people can see her?
Oh, yes. That is a great point. Can we see her?
Hello.
There. Awesome. Thanks. That is good to know. Almost all of our birds here were hit by vehicles. The litter on the sides of our roads attract a lot of rodents. And so these guys, unfortunately, are hunting on the sides of the roads. Yeah. And every single one of our birds, we have owls, falcons, hawks. They've unreleasable because they were hit by some sort of vehicle. Oh, Willow. I had lots of owl facts prepared, but I don't think we have time for that tonight. You guys probably already know.
Give us
Willow
one
good owl fact. Owls are so good for just having crazy facts, though.
Okay, cool. How about if we were owls, our eyes would be about the size of oranges.
Wow.
Speak for yourself.
Their eyes take up 5% of their body weight, whereas ours are like 0 0.0003% of our body weight. They take up about over half to 3/4 of their skull.
Oh,
This
look
is
at that. That's cool.
a barred owl skull. But so much of that skull space it's all eyes in there.
All eyes in there and all feathers
Mhm.
too. If you look at that skull and compare it to you think of an owl as having like a very round head, but look at it, it's got a very birdy skull there. It's just all feathers on the front end of it that gives it that
Mhm.
disc.
Yeah.
Cool shape. Well, thanks to everybody. Thanks Willow. Thanks Nicole. Thanks Kat. Thanks Birdability. I hope you all had a good time. If